Dr. Shayna.
Dr. Shayna Lewis.
Dr. Shayna D. Lewis.
Dr. Shayna Lewis.
Oh, Dr. Shayna D. Lewis.
All right. Welcome back to the Power Room. Hello. Welcome back to episode number 10 of Power Moves, the podcast. This is the podcast for experts and practitioners who are ready to leverage your genius and finally, honey, get paid what you are worth in life and business. I am your host, Dr. Shayna, your brand therapist, and I help experts, entrepreneurs, practitioners just like you who are ready to build a bankable brand well beyond traditional practice. And I'm so excited to be back for another episode of Power Moves, the podcast. Y'all, we are on week number 10, and it is going to be another amazing show. Now, on last episode, we had a great conversation all about how you can get in the game, coach, right? Talked about the river of income that allows you to truly shift from serving one-to-one and actually enter into that one-to-many space where you are coaching massive numbers of people through a journey and process, helping them to really deal with the pain and get to that purposeful and positive outcome. Now, today we're going to continue this conversation talking about our 7 rivers of income. We won't get into the last 3. We're going to take 2 of them today and have a conversation about. One of them being another one of my favorites is events. I love hosting events. Some people get really anxious or overwhelmed when we talk about events, but I'm going to break it down for you and how you can really create events that are impactful but low budget, and they don't kill your bank account as you're trying to serve and help people really grow and get their breakthrough. And then we're going to talk about products, because products can definitely go with events as well, and we'll deal with all the different types there. So get your pen, get your paper, get your coffee, your tea, whatever it might be, and let's get into it. Okay. All right. So there were 7 rivers of income. Y'all already know we've talked about most of them, but I'm just going to recap for you real briefly what they all are, so you know where we are in this lineup. So number 1, we already dealt with speaking. If you are not a speaker just yet, I promise you want to be. That's my number 1 river for sure. There's books. All of you who are experts should be authors. There is the media. We talked about leveraging media and truly showing up and borrowing that credibility and getting helping the public to know what you do in private. We dealt with courses last week. We're going to deal with events and products. We dealt with coaching last week. I'm sorry. We're going to deal with events and products today. And the last one we'll deal with later on another episode is going to be courses. So I'm excited. We're almost done with the 7 rivers of income, family, and we will round it out with all of the things that you can do to truly build your bankable brand and finally get paid what you're worth in life and in business. All right, so let's get into this events and products. So let's just first talk about why events, right? Like, why should we even consider events in this world? I want you to understand, number 1, we outside. People love to connect outside. This virtual world, for many of us, it wore us out. Like, we tired. Are you tired of it? Because I know I have beyond been tired of it. However, with that said, because we are in a virtual world, it allows you definitely to tap into people all across the globe in events that are virtual, which is amazing. We'll talk about that. But because we are outside and we crave the connection of human connection, it's a great way for you to bring like-minded people into your space, into your brand, who are all wanting the same thing ultimately, which is the answer that you have to the problem that they all have in common. So events is a powerful way to truly build your brand, get ambassadors for your brand, where there are people who are singing your praises because they've been in your presence, right? Being in your presence is powerful as an expert because you're truly able to touch the people who you're there to help. So events is powerful. I just believe the social component of it makes it even more powerful for sure. The other piece about events is just like the other things that I've talked about, it allows you to serve one to many. So while you can have a one-on-one coaching relationship, or you can talk to one person at a time in an event, especially when you're the host of it, you get to literally serve X amount of people at the same time, specifically in the way that you want to, because it's your event. Okay. So I want you to understand why events are so powerful, one. And number two, I want us to help understand why we don't have to be afraid of them. Okay. I'm going to break that down in just a minute. Now, one of the things that I want you, excuse me, one of the things I want you to understand that at your event, just like everything else I've talked about, I am not saying go over here and make up a whole nother set of things for you to teach people. Hear me well. No, you're going to build what? One brand, just one. It's going to be laid on a foundation that is solid as a rock I stand. You're going to know what the pain points are of your avatar, your demographic and audience, and you're going to have a solution and a process that will take them through so they can get to the other side. Okay. That's all we're doing here, folks. So with your event, you're just doing the same thing, but in an event. So at your event, I want you to think about one or two pain points that your potential client or audience has, that an event, if you were to host one, could be the answer for it. Think about it. So maybe you are, I used this example last week. Maybe you are someone who works with parents who are struggling with parenting and raising kids. So maybe you have an event where you bring parents into the room to help them learn a parenting model or frame that will absolutely give them powerful resource that they can then take back home and teach and work with their children with. Okay. Did you solve every single problem they have as a parent? No, but you absolutely gave them a one or two big wins inside of that event because that was your focus. So as we sit here and we have this conversation, I really want you to think for a moment about what is one or two problems that people in your demographic, what do they have that you could literally take an event and use to answer that problem? Think about it. It's really not as hard as we think. None of this is as hard as we think if you have a framework and shortcuts to get it done. Like that's the key for sure, for sure, for sure. So I already gave you one. If you're, a parent trainer, or if you are well, in my case, I have events. I love, 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 love events actually. And so I've had several events for experts, and we've had conversations around building the brands that we're talking about, right? And so that event was an opportunity for me to teach how to do that in one very specific way. I did not solve all the problems. I did not get too deep dive into everything, but I was increasing and raising our awareness that there's another way to do things, and you have an opportunity to grow very quickly in your business if you're able to truly wrap your mind around it and build something. Okay. And so that's what we did in that particular event. I gave them the framework. They were able to drop and drag it, answered a lot of their questions, and they were off to the races. Now, I want you to think about in your business, what could that event focus on for you? Now, the other piece about this is what kinds of events are we talking about, right? So there's lots of them, y'all. Let me just first say there's in person and there's virtual, right? So we have those two. There's some that are even hybrid. Some folks will have an in-person event and then have a virtual option for folks who aren't in the place where they are, city or state, and they can also join in. That's an option as well too. Usually do that if you have a really big audience and you really need to have an opportunity for lots of other people to show up. So, but being in the room is really where the power is, right? That's the thing. You really want people to travel to you, if that's the case, to get in the room with you to have the experience. So that's powerful. So think about that. Virtual events can be really powerful though, because number one, they cost you no money. All you need to have is a camera, your computer, and let's go, and an internet connection in the Zoom room, and you can have a virtual event. It could be an event that is 1 hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours, it could be 4 hours. I've had virtual events of all kinds of lengths. It could be 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. It could be a multitude of ways that you create an online virtual event. It could be a challenge. It could be a boot camp. It could be just a workshop that literally is a couple of hours and people come soak up what they need and then they go on their way. It could be any of those things. So understand that virtual events are very impactful. So don't sleep on them. Sometimes people say, well, we are tired of the virtual world, but there's a lot of good that can be done there as well too. So know that that is an option that you have in order to keep cost low, right? I mean, really cost is nothing. It's literally the time. The cost you may spend may be marketing that event and sharing it with people, if anything. But to do it, cost you big $0. So think about that. Virtual events. Now, in-person events, again, those are my favorite because I really love the energy of people in the room. But if you are in a space where you said, okay, I would love to get people in the room and have this opportunity to share with them. Let's think about a couple different kinds of day events that you may be able to have. Now, depending on your area expertise, I'm a wellness expert, so and mental health expert. So I could definitely have a retreat. I've done that. I did an international retreat a couple years ago. You could even do something simpler than that. Is a day retreat where you bring people in for a day. If you're a wellness practitioner, you bring them in for a day and you walk them through an entire wellness process. If you're a healer, you can do the same thing. You walk them through an entire process. You have an opportunity to bring folks in for a day retreat so they can leave that place feeling peaceful, rejuvenated, rested, full, transformed, empowered to go out and continue to be well. Okay. You can just really give them a real in-depth experience. Now, you don't have to have 1 million people to come to this day retreat either. Really, this intimacy, right, is a great option because people believe if it's exclusive, that it's something I'm going to say uber special, right? Everybody can't come in here. This is only for the 5 women or 5 people who have this criteria and who want to do this work, right? Make it exclusive. That's another option for you if you want to do that with your day retreats or day events. In that way, if you're in the healing kind of a space. Now, you can also do, and this is one of my other favorites, event over a meal. Because if you have a brunch and lunch or dinner, we love to eat, y'all. And so if I'm having an event, I do lots of brunch, lunch, dinner events because they work well. People want to eat. So you find a restaurant, you find one with a private room, you ask them what their minimums are, and you fill that minimum with the number of people you need in the room. Let's say the minimum is $500. The meal is $50. You need 10 people to come into that event in order to pay for the room. That's it. Again, that's a very low cost event. If you have any amount of a network and you got people who follow you, then you can find 10 of them who want to come and hear what you have to say. You teach them some things over that meal and they're on their way. But it can become a powerful way, very low cost, very efficient for you to serve people at a live event. Now, mind you, I'm going to tell you this. If you have a live event, it's no different than you being on somebody else's stage speaking. What's the one thing I said you do not do, even though we feel some kind of, some of us who are new at this, we get anxious about it. Make an offer. If you're having an event, the point of it is to introduce them to a problem that they have that you have a solution for. You'll give them a bit of a breakthrough in that space, but you'll offer them a greater opportunity to keep working with you for more breakthrough. Okay. So thinking about what that looks like, what's the one issue, and then what's the greater offer. If you missed last week's episode, then you want to make sure you go back because a coaching program is a great offer to make to people at a live event. Because they've seen you, they've touched you, they've agreed with you, they like how you work, they are inspired by you, and they want to work with you. So give them an opportunity to work with you at the end of your event. Okay. So there's the brunch, lunch, or dinner event. There's an actual conference. For those of you who've been out here a while, maybe you're not new in these streets, you have not ventured into actually hosting your own conference, you could definitely do that. It could be a virtual conference or it could be a live and in-person one. And again, even that conference doesn't have to be all day. It could be 3 or 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever the case may be, totally up to you. But you show up, you deliver some amazing content, you engage your audience, and you make them an offer at the end of the day. Okay. Whatever you hear me say, understand, make an offer. make an offer, because people want to work with you. You're showing up, you're the expert, they want to work with you. The other thing you can also do is something that we call a summit. Now, some of you have probably heard of summits, and summits are, I want you to think about a lot of them we see virtually, and summits are events where you have multiple people who are experts in different areas, but all under the same umbrella. So, for instance, in my mental health summit, for instance, I had mental health experts from different angles of mental health who all came into the summit to share their expertise that then helped the greater audience. That's what we mean by a summit. You may be a parent expert and you may have someone from different angles of parenting come in. They cannot talk about the very same thing you talk about, okay? Because ultimately it's still your event and you're hosting these other people in it just to bring in more voices, to add more value, to leverage their audience and their community by having them as a speaker, for them sharing it on their networks, that kind of thing. But you are in a space where the summit is yours. And ultimately, the offer that's made is to your programming at the end of it, not to theirs. Okay. But they're coming in and adding value as well. And they ultimately, the win for them is they may get people who follow them as well, because you invited them into the space and you are gifting them your audience as well too. So it's a give and a take. So just make sure if you do a summit that you're inviting people who are going to add value, not doing exactly what you do, but they're adding value to the conversation, and that they have an audience of which you can leverage as well too. Okay. So summits are great ways as well. So, and again, a summit can be in person or it can be virtual. You can pick whichever way you want to do. It's all the same outcome in the sense of you having an event, being able to serve people powerfully in person or online, but it's yours. So you get to run it the way that you need to run it so that you get the outcomes that you're hoping. Okay. And events don't have to be huge. I say it could be 5 people, it could be 50 people, it could be 300 people. You decide. But understand the first time out the gate, honestly, you don't want it to be that big because you still figuring it out. Okay. I've learned that the hard way. Too many people got invited to a party. Oh no, it should have just been a couple of y'all, not all of y'all. Okay. So you work the kinks out with the smaller ones and then you rinse and repeat that if it works well later and you invite more people. Y'all got it? So events are again, I keep saying everything my favorite. It just is, because events are a really powerful way to help people who truly want to be in the room with you. Okay. So you want to think about that, whether it's a virtual room or either a in-person room. Okay. Now, so the product piece. So I put events and products together because especially if you're doing an in-person event, you always want to have that vending table. Now, I've talked to you all earlier about if you were speaking, you want to have a vending table anytime you open your mouth, which is why you got to have products. Okay. So we're going to talk about today, what are the different kind of products that you can have that you're offering, not just at your own events, but even at other people's events as well too. Number one, though, y'all know what I'm going to say. I've said it already, is a book. You're expert. You just spoke. You have an event. Have a book about the thing that you're talking about. Okay. Just have a book. It's the simplest thing to have at a table to vend. Okay. As a product is your book. Okay. So there's a book. The other thing is, and I love, really think about anything that connects to your customers or clients' journey. So on my life side of my house of coaching, I am an expert in executive wellness. And so I have a t-shirt. That whole self-care is the new sexy brand. There's a t-shirt, there's a mug, there's a box, there's all of these things. There's tea, there's all of the fuzzy socks, all the things that help my client on their journey to wellness. And so you want to think about that for whatever your area expertise is as well. So if it is parenting, what are the things parents need to know? Hopefully you got a parenting book around it. And then maybe also you think about other things that you can have. Maybe it's a workbook as well. Just don't think regular book, but you can have workbooks and journals. All these are great products. Now, these things can be physical, right? In an event space that you're in the room, people can come to you and purchase those things. They may not sign up for a course at your event, but they may buy the books. They just want more. Maybe they're not ready to go to the next level fully, but they just want a little bit more. Okay. Have a book, have a workbook, have something for them to purchase that'll help them on that journey even further. Then if you're in a virtual space, maybe some of your products may look like digital workbooks, digital downloads, ebooks. Maybe it looks like a toolkit of some sort. See, we make it hard to think about, oh my gosh, what kind of products can I make? You can literally make a product in 30 minutes. Like, it doesn't take, hands down, it doesn't take long. I promise you. I have an entire course around this actually as well, where I teach folks how to make a digital product from creation all the way through to the end. You can get that thing done in 7 days and it's a wrap. Okay. It's so simple. And really less than that, honestly. So creating the digital products that you can then offer to folks online, people who you may never see, right? They can buy this stuff in your online store while you are literally sleeping. We call those sleep coins. Everybody wants sleep coins, right? You would love, who wouldn't in this planet love to wake up from their night of slumber where you got your 7 to 9 hours of sleep that is recommended. Y'all know, those of you who've been with me on this wellness journey, you understand 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and you wake up and there is some ching ching in the bank because somebody purchased the digital products that you created. Like, why wouldn't you want to have digital products that other people are purchasing from you just because you were asleep, but you already created it? So it's a powerful tool to have digital products. It is a powerful tool to have products that are physical. Now, mind you, I hear somebody over there, I'm feeling your energy, and you're like, oh, Dr. Shana, that's a lot. That's a lot. I can't do all of that. Okay, it's okay. I did not say we have to do everything at the same time. The purpose of this podcast is to introduce you to these different opportunities and options that you have, to understand that you have 7 different ways that you can enter into your business and build your brand. You do not build them all at the very same time. We layer this as an approach. Okay. So call this, what I'm saying is the information dump. And then we can go on the back end and then we can walk through which ones do we want to do first, what comes next, what comes after that. Okay. So you, my friend, are not overwhelmed by it, because I know, I get it. I've been there. I've done that, honey. I got the whole t-shirt and all the things to go with it as well too. Okay. So at the end of the day, you having products in addition to having and hosting your own events creates more income generation for you. It also gives you more opportunity to serve, create greater impact and influence. And mind you, you have to understand these things always go together. When you have more impact, when you have more influence, you're going to make more income because you're going to serve people so well that they're going to want to know more from you. They're going to want to touch you more. They're going to want to hear more from you. They're going to want to learn more from you. So let's make sure we really are showing up and serving people well, powerfully, so that then they want all of the other things on the other side. Okay. So y'all got that. That is key. So now recap here real briefly. Let's talk about it. Why events? Because we are outside, y'all. We are social beings and we need to be connected. It is one of the greatest ways to shift from one-to-one service to one-to-many. It allows you to literally just take a couple of the pain points that your clients, potential clients may have, create a solution for it, wrap it up in an event, let them come into this space and learn from you. You are the one who is focusing the content. Remember, everything you're talking about truly is walking them right back into the coaching program or the book or whatever other offer you have on the back end of it. Everything you're doing in this event is walking them right into that as the actual solution. Y'all catching what is that you picking up what I'm putting down? You're giving them the problem and you're giving them solution on the other side as well too. The types of event you could have, virtual or in person. There's lots of options. You pick which one. I gave you several. Circle the ones that you like. Do some research. Figure out what makes the most sense. You could do all of them. I've done every single one of them actually at different times. Figure out which one you like the most, and maybe that's the one you rinse and repeat. It's totally up to you. It's all good. Having products is going to be powerful to you hosting events. It allows you to continue the work and the service to the people who showed up in that room. Okay. And not just physical products, but don't forget virtual products, digital products are also powerful because people love to download something for $9.97 or for $27 or $47, a toolkit, whatever the case may be. You create that one time and people are able to consume that from you without you ever showing up for it at all. So I'm hopeful that from this episode, you're beginning to think, what can your events look like, but also what kinds of products can you create, physical or digital, that are going to help grow your business, whether you're ready for events or not. Events is just one of the rivers, but products can literally stand on its own as well too. Okay. And so as we bring this episode to a close, I want you to just reflect upon what I asked you earlier. What types of events can you host to answer a singular problem that your customers have? And then on the back end of that, what offer do you have to give them once you have created this event for them that walks them into your solution? And then finally, what products can you create, whether they are physical that help them on their journey, or whether they are digital that also help them on their journey? Even when you're not in their space, they're still getting help. There's still influence that you have in their life and how they're thinking about things. There's still impact that's showing up because you're helping so many more people. So it's just that simple, folks. Events, products. So this has been a great episode because I really love events and I love products as well too. All of them are my favorites. I can't pick one. Like, this is the hardest thing. I'm not even gonna try. I'm not gonna try. You just decide for yourself. Of the ones we've said so far, just give me a comment in the comment section and say which of the 7 rivers is really ringing loud and true for you. I've given you 6 of the 7. I have 1 left, which is courses, which we'll deal with in another episode. But which one is screaming to you like, that's the place I want to start, Dr. Shana? That's it. That's it. That's it. I'd love to hear from you. So just know that there's a power move that you got to make too as we land this plane. And here's your power move affirmation for today. I am the bridge that my client has been waiting on for their breakthrough. Your event is the answer to that. Your product is the answer to that, because you are the bridge that your client has been waiting on for their breakthrough. Know that you are. Remind yourself of that daily. When I'm sharing these power move affirmations, it's not for nothing. It's literally for you to recite these things to yourself so that you stay in a space of forward progression. This is part of that soft skill side of this, is the mindset side of this. And we've done some work around that too in this podcast as well, of putting that positive stuff, that good stuff inside of you on a daily basis, because it's hard over here in these entrepreneur streets, y'all. I know it's hard. It gets rough sometimes. And you got to continuously remind yourself of why are you here and why are you showing up and why are we doing this work? So there's your power move for today. So with that said, we'll land our plane today. But I'm hopeful that you got some nuggets, some insights, some things that you can walk away with and actually use and put in place. I invite you to click down below, get your free gift, 10x your business, folks. I'm going to go deep diving into those 7 rivers inside of that training for you as well. Make sure you grab your copy of that. Or if you're someone, say, Dr. Shana, I just need to talk to you. There's also a link there for you to get on my calendar as well too. I'm excited that you're here. And I know that you can, you must, and you will. A power move must be made, my friends. Make your next move your best move. Y'all have an amazing rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you on the next episode.